Many beginner traders are scared to lose. They're scared to lose money. They're scared to see a loss on their account, whether this is on the day, on the week, or on the month. They just don't want to see that red on their screen. And this is why many people are scared to make money. Because in trading, as you know, to enter a trade, you have to accept the fact that that trade can potentially lose. And you could lose your money on that trade. And I feel like the reason why many people are scared to lose is because they're looking at the small period of time when they should be looking at the bigger picture. A good example of this, if we put it into trading terms, if you are a swing trader, for example, or if you're looking for an overall bias in the markets, you're not going to go down to the 1 minute time frame to look for that. You're going to look on the higher time frame to give you an overall picture of the direction the price is actually going in. And this is the same with your trading journey. You don't want to zoom in as far as possible to, your current trading performance and judge your whole performance on 1 day or 1 week of results. We want to judge it on the whole year. So one small loss isn't going to change your whole performance. And this is what you need to realize when you are entering every single trade. And people get confused when I say this because they assume that I mean every trade is not important, but that's kind of the opposite of what I'm saying. Every trade is important to the point where you have to have full conviction going into that trade. And if you do have full conviction and you're backed by a strategy that's backed by data itself, then you know the likelihood of you winning or losing that trade. And you know the chances of you being profitable long term are quite high if you are trading from your data. Because if you are a smart person or someone with a brain, in fact, you wouldn't be trading a strategy if the data didn't suggest that it would be profitable. And if you are trading a strategy that isn't profitable on paper, from previous data, from maybe you've done back testing, forward testing, perhaps some small account live testing, and you don't see that it's profitable, don't trade live. But the best thing to actually counteract that fear of losing is by just having confidence in the markets, confidence in your trading, confidence in yourself as a trader, because some people, they will be backtesting, they will be seeing the results, but they lose in the live markets because they just don't have the confidence. And this can be quite a big mistake. When I'm speaking about confidence in the markets, I don't mean that they're not taking the right trades, but the way they are taking those trades can be destroying their profitability. This could be because of the trade management. Some people, let's say they've had 3 losing trades in a row, their next trade is in profit, but they see it rejecting near their take profit, for example. They are more likely, the average trader, to close this early to try and recoup some of the losses that they've made previously. And I guess if you are in a winning streak, you're more likely to hold the position to the take profit because you have that massive buffer that you've built up from several wins. But the way I like to put this into perspective for a lot of traders is you need to look at your data. And a lot of people, they won't look at the equity graph. They won't go into the details of their data. They'll just look at, this is what I make on the past 5 years. Perhaps 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, you've backtested, and that's great. Several years of data that you have collected. But what people tend to do is they'll look at the yearly return for all of those years, and then they'll base their trading off of that. But what they do, the best traders do, in fact, they go into detail on every single year, looking at the data. And what you can do is either go through the year and perhaps you input this data into a backtesting software and then use it on a journaling software. Perhaps you're even using Excel. Depends the way you do it. I export my backtested trades from FX Replay and then I import them into Edgewonk, which is a journaling software that I use. And it allows me to backtest, collect all the data, input it into the journaling software that I use for my personal trading. So all the accounts I'm trading live will be imported into Edgewonk, which allows me to compare it to my live trading strategies. So perhaps I'm looking to add something, perhaps I'm looking to compare a change I've made to the normal trading I've been doing. This does make it a lot easier. And what I'm looking at is losing streaks. It doesn't matter what your yearly return is if your drawdown is high and you have big losing streaks. Because let's say you return 20% in a year, which is really, really good, but you have an average losing streak of 5-6% and your max losing streak on an average year, let's say, is 10 trades, you're only really returning 2. So 1 to 2 based on your max drawdown versus your overall return. And this might seem okay because obviously it's nowhere near your return. But to put this into perspective, losing 10 trades in a row, you're down 10%. It doesn't seem that bad on a backtested account or on a backtesting software when you can just click through and enter, loss, enter, loss, enter, loss 10 times and then you go to a winning streak again. It doesn't seem that bad. But when you're actually trading a live account, and let's say 10 trades can be split over a month, you've now worked a full month and you haven't won a single trade and you're down 10%. Then you look back at your month's performance, you see minus 10%. It can definitely affect you in ways that you can't predict just from backtesting. You can say backtesting, oh, well, I'm going into live markets now, but I know the potential of losing this many trades in a row. But when you actually lose the money, when you put in all those hours, when you've been journaling every trade and it just keeps losing, that's when you can make the bad decisions. That's when you can start getting FOMO. Perhaps you're then scared of entering. And this is because you're scared of losing. You're scared of losing, even though the data suggests that you can lose that amount of trades. But still, you're scared to lose. And this will make you scared to enter. But the issue with being scared to enter after a losing streak is how are you going to then wipe out that losing streak with the wins if you are scared to enter the next trade? One way to obviously counteract this is to just forget about the money. Again, easier said than done. But I have a solution for this. People always say forget the money, trade like a robot and all these things. I'm probably guilty of saying that too in the past. But one simple way is to just scale down your capital. The way you could do this is either only trade a small amount of capital until your trading psychology, we could probably call it, is better. And then you can slowly scale up. So let's say you start with 10K, you scale up to 15K, 20K, 25K, and you scale up like that alongside your good performance if you are trading the plan perfectly. And obviously you don't want to keep adding money if you're just losing, because again, it's just going to make your losses bigger. But perhaps you have a system where you reach a certain profit amount, then you add capital. Another way that is probably easier is to have a small personal account. So perhaps, let's say $1,000. And then this is copy traded from the master, which is a small account, to the slave accounts, which are the bigger accounts. Perhaps this is prop firm challenges that you're struggling to trade because you're seeing the large losses, or even a personal account that is larger. The reason you're doing this is because when you're trading that master account, that's the one you are picking up the phone and entering the trades. So you'd be entering here and you're seeing, $10 losses or $30 wins. It's not going to affect you that much. But behind the scenes, this account is being copy traded to these accounts on this side that are having $1,000 losses, $3,000 wins. So you're not getting the emotions of seeing large wins and large losses. So the drawdown will hopefully affect you less, and it will make you less scared of losing because the losses are smaller. And the majority of traders who do struggle with being fearful of losses, the main reason is because they are trading either too much risk, too large of an account size for their experience level, or a combination of both. People will go into a 200k prop firm challenge, having never traded six figures before in the past, then they'll risk 2% per trade. Again, it doesn't make any sense. You probably are copying someone else that has done that in the past. You probably look at my challenge videos when I always say to not follow my risk management, and then you go and try and do it yourself, and you wonder why it is affecting you mentally. Because you're not used to it. It's literally as simple as that. So again, I've mentioned the solutions in this video, and if you are looking to actually make a change in your trading, you need to be disciplined. You need to tell yourself, this is what I'm doing wrong, and here is the plan to change it. If you don't have a plan to change your problems, they will always remain as problems in your trading. You need to find the solutions, stick to the solutions, and then you can become profitable. And if you did enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.